This video brought to you by Monster. Well, not really, but... So, I made one video already on Alvin Plantinga and his argument against philosophical naturalism or materialism. Now, here's a video on Alvin Plantinga and the modal argument. And I haven't actually even watched this one yet, so let's see what my reactions are going to be. Hope we can hear.
Alvin speaking as an old brain scientist, I had my hands in physical brains, human brains, animal brains, and have wrestled with the question of the nature of human beings my whole life. What from your philosophical and theological point of view can you say about the nature of a person?
Right. Well, I guess I take a sort of old-fashioned view on this. I mean, I know it's all the rage nowadays to be a materialist, to think that human beings are material objects, maybe their bodies, maybe their brains, maybe the left.
It's all the rage these days to be logical. Oh, imagine that. You know what? I'm going to close that window. So yeah, it's all kids these days, all the rage to be logical and use evidence. So that's not for me.
Half of their brains, maybe something inside their brains. But I don't believe that for a minute. I don't think that's right. And it seems to me there's several different lines of thought that lead to the idea that that's not right. Here's one. If I were a material object, it seems to me I would have to be my body, or maybe my brain. Something like that, or some part of it. I wouldn't be some material object off there, say, 100 miles away from here or something like that. That's what I would have to be if I were a material object. But it seems to me perfectly conceivable that I should exist when my body doesn't.
Really? It's perfectly conceivable for you to exist when your body, the very thing in which all of your mental faculties are occurring, doesn't exist. That's like saying a computer program can exist, can be running, when there's no computer. It's just kind of stupid.
So suppose we name my body B. Let's call my body B just for the moment. Seems to me I could exist when B doesn't. So for example, there is...
It seems to you? That's his argument? It seems to me this is the case? How can people take this fucking idiot seriously? Maybe he's just... maybe he's just the world's best troll. He doesn't believe a word of what he's saying. He's just trolling everybody to see how badly he can pull the wool over people's eyes. Kind of like apparently Andy Warhol did. He just loved just fucking with the art public, or the art world. He'd do just the craziest shit on purpose to see how much he could get away with. I think Plantinga is doing the same thing. This guy's just the very sophisticated troll.
This story by Franz Kafka, Metamorphosis, in which this fellow, forgot his name now, winds up one morning, he wakes up and he's in the body of a beetle. He's now got a beetle body for a body. So he looks up and he sees his, I don't know how many, I think a beetle has, eight legs, but there they are all waving away. He finds it really hard to get out of bed. He's on his beetle back and so on. He finally gets out of bed, and I can imagine all this happening to me, going over and looking in the mirror. Wow, what a beetle. But that could happen when at the same time B, that body that I was saying I wasn't, was destroyed. So now here, I exist, but B doesn't.
It's just one hypothesis or one thing he imagines after another. He's got no logical argument yet at all. And if he's going to string together a bunch of, I can imagine this and I can imagine that, shit, I can imagine going to Hogwarts with Harry Potter and flying on a fucking broom. It doesn't mean it's true or even possible. I can imagine it. It means you have an imagination. That's all it means.
So if that's possible, if it's possible that I exist when B doesn't exist,
it's not possible.
Then I'm not identical with B.
You are identical.
Then there'll be something true of me that's not true of B, namely, possibly exists when B doesn't. That's true of me, but it's not true of B.
No,
Let me
it's
see
not.
if I get this. You're not saying that A really exists independently of B. What you are saying is that I can conceive that A could be independent of B.
No, I'm saying something stronger. Where A is me and B is my body,
Right.
I'm saying it's possible that I should exist when B doesn't. And my evidence, my reason for thinking that it's possible is in part that I can easily imagine it. I can imagine my waking up in a beetle body. My other body, I find out, the one I had, that was destroyed.
Right.
So if that's the case, then
Wait a second.
possible is in part that I can easily imagine it. I can imagine
Hold on.
saying something stronger. Where A is me and B is my body,
Right.
I'm saying it's possible that I should exist when B doesn't. And my evidence, my reason for thinking that it's possible is in part that I can easily imagine it. I can imagine.
His reason for believing that he could exist apart from his body is that he can easily imagine it. He can easily imagine it, therefore it might be true. Or in fact, it's likely to be true as far as he's concerned. If he can imagine it, it's likely to be true. God, I hope this guy doesn't go to movies or he's going to be completely fucking confused about the world. He'll think that, pirates are still running around the Caribbean, and he'll think that aliens are coming from other planets, and that puppets can come to life and kill you, and all kinds of crazy shit. Fucking idiot.
My waking up in a beetle body, my other body, I find out, the one I had, that was destroyed.
All right.
So if that's the case, then there's something that's true of me that isn't true of B.
It's not the case, though. So there's nothing true of you, A, that isn't true of B. So your whole argument is false, is faulty, is built upon nothing.
The truth is you can imagine it. The fact, whether it's true or not, in reality, is not
let's
there.
just back up a little bit. If a given thing A is identical with another thing B, then whatever is true of A is true of B. They're the same thing, right?
Right.
So if I am the same thing as my body, then everything that's true of me is also true of my body, and vice versa.
Yes.
So far we're seeing
Okay.
eye to eye.
Right.
Okay. Well, if it's possible that I exist when B doesn't,
It's not possible.
then there's at least one thing true of me that isn't true of B, namely, possibly exists when
But it's not possible. So why are you even talking about this?
B doesn't.
Yes.
That's something
I
B
follow
can't
that.
do. Yeah.
Right.
So there's something true of me that's not true
Why not say it's possible that light exists without a light source?
of B. Therefore, B and I are not the very same thing. We're not identical. And if that's the case, then I am not the same thing as my body.
But this distinction between A and B is a possibility. It's not. It is an indeterminate fact.
Well,
But
now,
you're saying the possibility itself becomes a fact because it makes A and B different because there is this possibility.
yeah. So if
Is
there are
that sufficiently strong?
Well, if there are possibilities for A that are not possibilities for
Yes.
B, then A and B are not the same thing.
They're not the same thing in this counterfactual world, so to speak. Or
Well, they're not the same thing at all. I mean, what I say is, this is called Leibniz's law,
okay.
that if A is identical with B, then whatever is true of A is also true of B. Or if A is identical with B, then every property A has is one B has, and conversely. Well, among the properties are modal properties, like being possibly such and such. So if it's true of A that it's possibly such and such, but it's not true of B that it's possibly such and such, then A and B are not the same thing. Well, that's the way my argument goes. I say it's true of me that possibly exists when B doesn't, but it's not true of B that possibly exists when B doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not you do not exist apart from your body. The end. You can't. There's no possibility, zero possibility that you exist apart from your body. Any more than light can exist without a source of light. If there's nothing giving off photons, there are no photons.
Therefore, B and I are two different fellows. I mean, I am not the same thing as my body.
How strong do you think that argument is?
I think it's terrifically strong.
So just in case it didn't come through in the audio, the interviewer said, how strong do you think that argument is? And Plantinga said, I think it's terrifically strong. Fucking idiot.
I mean, it seems to me if it's really true that it's possible that I exist when B doesn't, from that it just follows, I would say, as the night to day, that B and I are not the same thing.